Dandavad Maharaj. Haribol. Happy to see you, Maharaj.
Happy to see you. Jai. Ananditya ki jai. Jai. Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Priyatma.
Jai.
Jai. Haribol.
Jai. Srila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki. Jai.
Haribol.
We happy to see you, Maharaj, and devotee.
Likewise.
Icha Prabhu ki. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I'm so happy.
We are very happy because see to you and Kechava Prabhu. Oh,
Haribol.
we are the best friend in our life.
Hare Krishna. Jai Bhakti Rasa Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
You are, looks like you are flying in an airplane. Oh, yeah. He's in the car, in the back. In the car. Back seat. Back seat. I see. Tony Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dhanyavad.
Dandavad.
Pradhanji. Do you know what Pradhan is, Tony? Do you know what Pradhan means in Sanskrit?
Sometimes there is problem when he uses the phone.
Oh. Can you hear?
He can hear. Yeah.
Haribol.
He can hear, but
Huh?
he can hear.
You can hear?
That's when he knows to go to the pranam.
Do you know? Do you know the meaning of Pradhan? Oh. Is he answering?
Tony Ji, Maharaj is asking if you know the meaning of the word Pradhan in Sanskrit. Are you able to hear us? You can even just shake your head no. If you're not able to use the microphone, just you can shake your head.
Okay. When he can hear, we'll tell him.
Okay.
Are you in the Ras Prabhu? Are you in a bus? Like a big vehicle.
Big sunroof.
Huh?
The sunroof.
Where?
A sunroof on the car. You know, you can see light above and on the side.
Are you still on the East Coast?
Oh, he's traveling.
Huh? Yes. Are you going to come to visit us?
Yes, I'm in a big SUV with sleeping devotees.
Oh, I see. Are you going to come to see us? Nobody can hear. What did Pradhan say?
He said something is wrong with his phone. He's not able to.
Oh, okay. All right. Another time. I'll explain the meaning of Pradhan. Gauranga All right, let us begin with Vandanam. What did you say?
Yes, I'm traveling and serving now with Jai Advaita Maharaj as of last week, so my visit to parents got cut short. I'm not sure what the plans are for being able to visit in person.
Oh, okay. Let's see what Krishna's plan is for you. Vandeham Sri Guru
Yukta-Padakamanam Siddhu Vaisnavancha Sri Rupa
Sadhana Ram Sajiva
Advaitam Shavakutam Pariyana Samhitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Krishna
Radha Krishna
Lavita Shri Viskanvitamscha Om
Onanjana Jana
Puja Shri Guru
Vishta Supuratam, Guru Gana Shisha Sambhushitam, Sindhya Sindhya Samadhipunam, Sirupa Pandanugam, Govinda Vidam Upalam, Bharatalam Bhaktyam Vitam Shuddham, Ante Vishva Guru Shandriya, Bhagavan Premo Kiriyapam,
Devam
Devayatanum Sushanda Vadanam, Parakasya Siddham, Sandranam Puram Savita, Varanam Vidya Bhugim, Deshidanta Nirim Shubhakti Lasitam, Sarasvatanam Param, Mantetam Shubham Madhika, Saranam Jasis Param Sridhara, Deshidanta Prasmiti, Vidito Gaudiya Gurunam, Bhatto Purima Gagane Yukota Sakti,
Maya Bhara
Maya Vara Krishna Prema Shubhaligahan Sukam Prava Pramutam Vaje
Namo
Gaurakiso
Bhakta
Bhakta Madhutamurtaye Karunamri Parmavingaya Pranamami Sevine
Vande Bhakti
Vande Bhakti Vinodam Sri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Sastra Samrayam Radhasa Shuddhanidhim
Ora Vijay
Gauraya Sita Sheshai Vaidnavyandratyam Yadam Prabhu Vande Premadim Veda Vaisnavam
Vanchakapa
Yasha Kirpasinduya Yacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namaha Achatatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavalam Bhaktagyam Namami Bhakta Sartikam
Namo
Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Nami Gauri Krishna Namaha
Jayata
Jayata Srita
Mama
Jayati Matsavasva Palambuja Ramaganamana Siddhantarva Sila Govinda Devo Destalivi Semanamas Marami
Shriman
Sriman Rasana Sambi Bansi Vadanaga Stita Karsabenu Vanel Gopi Govinanda Sriyastuna
Vrindayanai
Vindayai Kastemiyal Priyaya Kisa
Krishna Bhakti
Krishnati Pradevi Satyavadya Namo
Tanak Mantra
Mantra Guru
Gurun
Guru
Bhagavad
Bhagavata Yasandya Guru Napa Tatyayo Viraye Dayasi Parikara Sisi Guru Gauranga Vandharva Govinda Sundar Palampanja Yastu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sridhara Galadhara Srivastari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Chaitanya, Srila Bhakti Niskam Santa Maharaj ki jai.
Jai
Giri Govardhana ki jai.
Jai
Srila Bhakti jai.
Jai.
Oh, glorious to this
Jai.
Oh, glory to the worldwide devotees. Lord Premanandi. Hari Hari.
Hari Bol.
I am Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Okay, I think we're in the second chapter. Second chapter of the Sri Prapanna-jivanamrtam, text number 7. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajacharya Saraswat Sripad Bhakti Rakshak Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai
Jai.
ki jai.
Jai.
Oh, this 7th verse, huh? Tanityatvam tad abhave atmano vanchitat prapyapi durlabhataram manusyam vibhud epsitam yar ashrito no govindas tar atma vanchitas chiram. I'm not sure what that is. Pretty wide.
Brahma Vivarta?
Vivarta? Brahma Vivarta?
Vivarta?
Maybe. The unsurrendered soul is perpetually deceived. Thus, the state of surrender is eternal. A birth in the human species is so valuable that it is aspired for by the demigods. Those who aspire to having taken such a birth do not take shelter of the lotus feet. Those who, despite having taken such a birth, do not take shelter of the lotus feet of Govinda, they deceive themselves perpetually. So it seems the comparison is being made here between the eternal nature of surrender and the perpetual nature of deception. Eternal nature of proper conception and the perpetual nature of deception. Deception means Maya. So the living entity can be trapped in the material world for many, many billions of lifetimes, practically eternally. Even the universe may be dissolved, and when it's recreated again, the living entities who have not been liberated, they will take birth again and again, effectively, eternally. Krishna says in the Gita, Mama Maya Duratya. Mama Maya Duratya. Means Mama means mine. Mama Maya, my illusory energy, Maya Duratya, is very difficult, impossible to cross. By his mercy, however, it can be crossed. Krishna can, by his grace, cover us with Maya, and by his grace again, can be liberated from Maya. By the grace, he comes to us in the form of Gurudev and liberates us from Maya. Guru, we should understand, is Krishna. Acharya mam vijaniyat. Krishna comes to us in a form that we can relate to him in the form of Gurudev. He is coming to teach us. Our understanding is like that Krishna is there behind everything. Certainly he is there behind Guru. Guru and Krishna are in cooperative mood, cooperative relationship. One thing we have to remember, someone was asking me the other day, what do we have to do to serve Krishna? And how do I give myself to Krishna? Well, the answer, I think, is that we don't have to do anything, actually. We say devotional service, yes, but what does that mean? Krishna told, or Mahaprabhu told to Sanatana Goswami, Srivara Surapaya, Krishnara Nityadas. He told him, your Swarup, your true identity, your constitutional nature is that you are the eternal servant of Krishna. What is that? You are the eternal servant. Krishna and Nityadas. That position doesn't change. And whatever life you may be living, whatever deception you may be living in, your real identity doesn't change, despite all those misconceptions. You're eternally a servant of Krishna. And then what is it we have to do? If we are a servant of Krishna, then what can we do? We are serving. Only we can accept that. We have to accept, surrender to that fact, surrender to that which we are. It sounds strange that we are that already, then what are we to surrendering to? But we have to simply change our conception, misconception, to dissolve the misconception and accept. Surrender means to accept, to submit to what it is that we are. And not therefore a matter of doing something, a matter of being something. Devotee means he is a devotee to Krishna. He is a servant of Krishna. His life is a life of service of Krishna, constantly, eternally, perpetually, and nothing else. As soon as we move from that position, as soon as somehow we direct our attention to other things, that and are forgetful of that, then we have to do something. Then we have to regain that original understanding and simply submit. Submit to that truth. So, the human form of life is the only one that can understand God. The other forms of life, what is that?
The Galaxy?
Yeah.
It's the name of the phone.
Okay.
I think Tony is connected to the audio now.
Huh?
Pradhan is connected to his audio.
Okay. So human being, the human form of life. Unfortunately, people do not appreciate or understand what the human form of life means. Of course, the great philosophers before us, they understood something. Aristotle, 2,000 years ago, more than 2,000 years ago, he understood that there are three types of living entities in this world: the plant, the animal, and the human. He classified basically three types. Of course, nowadays the scientists have so many classifications, but basically these are the three main categories: plant, animal, and human, living forms. And the plant he called a nutritive, a vegetative soul. And the animal, he said, was a perceptual soul. But the human being was a rational soul. The soul evolves from plant to animal consciousness to human consciousness. The consciousness evolves for the soul. Soul is the seat of consciousness, the center of consciousness. And in the conditioned state, in the finite state. And that can come in three different forms of vegetative or perceptual or rational. So the human form is an irrational form, a rational stage of development. It's capable of that, at least. Still, we know that some human beings, they seem to be in a vegetative state. They don't simply react. Of course, not many. Most are. Many are, however, only in the perceptual state of consciousness. They see things, they experience things, they're aware of things. But to be rational, we find not so many people are being as rational as they should be. They don't really think about their life to delve below the mere awareness of things, the mere consciousness of things. Whatever comes to their consciousness, they think that's all there is. That's called fact. Fact means it's in your consciousness and you take that to be the right thing, that to be the true thing. But what is in consciousness? And not always the true thing. Not always the true thing. We could be conscious of so many things that are not true. I wrote that book, Idols of the Mind versus True Reality. We create in our mind so many ideas. This is Roger Bacon also had this idea. Scientist, philosopher of the past. Huh? Francis Bacon, sorry. The idols of the mind. We can be misled into thinking something is a certain way, and it's really a matter of our own imagination that we see it in that way or understand it that way. So it's necessary to distinguish between what is in our consciousness, which is called certainty, and what is truth. To understand what is truth, we have to go beyond consciousness. You say, what is beyond consciousness? There are many things. And this we can find by reading the different philosophers, even Kant and Hegel, for instance. They describe the different levels of realization beyond consciousness. And of course, in the Veda and our scriptures, all our scriptures, these things are all explained there. So to understand these things requires a rational mind. The animal doesn't get that deep, doesn't get that far to analyze those things. So it's in the human form of life, however, we have the capacity to do that. Although not everyone uses that capacity, but it is there nonetheless. And if somehow, at least maybe not even understanding those things, we can come to someone who does, the Tattva Darshana, the devotee who sees the truth. Then we can also, just by hearing and taking direction, guidance from such souls, we can also make progress into those deeper regions of reality, proper understanding of things, which is, as I said, it's not something we have to do, it's something that we have to be. We are already servants of Krishna, and we have to come to full realization of that and act in that capacity, that's all. Everyone, in that sense, is a servant of Krishna, but they do not realize they are serving so many other interests in their own imaginations, and don't have a proper understanding of themselves. And therefore they are engaged in searching or trying to find different methods to reach that satisfactory position, which they are satisfied as being themselves. We can only be ourselves, however.
Bingo Fest starts in 30 minutes.
We can only be ourselves by submitting, surrendering to what we are in reality, eternal servant of Christ. That's all. So it's interesting, this verse also states that the demigods, I think I told once before about this, the demigods would like to come to this planet to be human beings, because here they have the opportunity to hear about the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan and the pastimes of Mahaprabhu and Navadvip, and to learn the teachings of these incarnations, and practice, especially in this Kali Yuga, when the real practice is simply chanting the holy name. In this way, that we can become spiritually awakened to all these things, to what is the reality of which we are a part. Now, why do they come here? Because in the heavenly planets, we explain that the situation is very pleasurable there. Heavenly planets means that they are very luxurious life, very happy life, sattva guna. And the hellish planets are those places where there's tamaguna and a lot of suffering, ignorance, and it's not very pleasant. So in either situation, when there's too much suffering or when there's too much pleasure, they become trapped by their environment. In the places of heaven where there's too much pleasure, they never think of anything else but their pleasurable lives. They don't think of Krishna, of surrendering to Krishna, or trying to seek anything outside of that pleasurable life. So having too much pleasure is a distraction in that sense, that we do not realize that that is not our real identity, to be living in that pleasurable world without Krishna, without understanding our surrender to Krishna, without understanding our subordinate nature as servants of Krishna. And in the hellish planets, it's too difficult to find the time or the place or the situation in which we can meditate and try to understand these things properly. So both the hellish condition and the heavenly planets, they are not favorable, not so favorable for making spiritual progress, for understanding self-realization. But in the earthly planet, it's a middle planet. Here there's some pleasure, some pain. We do have time to concentrate, meditate on these things, to study here and practice. So therefore, it is explained here that the demigods, they also would like to come as a human being and take shelter of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's a very nice, important verse to express the importance, three things important. The importance of being a human being, of taking a human form of life and understanding what that means in respect to other forms of life, to appreciate what that is and how we have to utilize. Second thing is how we have to utilize that human form of life. And the third thing, to recognize that we are the eternal servant of Krishna, and we have to surrender to that. Surrender to that, or be that which we are, as the servants of Krishna. Live in that consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And the other thing is that it's very important to understand these things. Otherwise, one will have to remain eternally in ignorance and delusion, whereas one can live eternally in sat-cit-ananda, bliss and knowledge of service of the most sweet Lord, the loving service of Krishna and his devotees. Hare Krishna. All right. Prapanna-jivanamrtam unifalaksha jivana vayalyate vayaksha asitin chaturashaiva laksham sanjiva jitasu jatisu ramyabi purushai prapya manusyam janma parjayat tadapya papalatam yatam desham atmabhimaninam varakanam anasritya govinda charana vayam Brahma Vaivarta Purana. The utter futility of life without surrender. After wandering throughout 8,400,000 species, the soul eventually takes a human birth, but that human birth is rendered worthless by those miserable fellows who are so proud of their bodies that they refuse to take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Govinda. So the problem is this. The problem is this, that by taking birth in this world, one thinks themselves the Lord of the universe. And this world means that one has forgotten that he is the servant of the Lord, and he thinks himself to be the Lord over all I observe, all I survey, the Lord of all I survey. That is the human form. That is the Mayic form of life, illusory form of life that the living entity takes when he comes to what is called the material world. Material world means he thinks he is the Lord of all. And the spiritual awareness, he understands that Krishna is the Lord of all. And he is the servant. Living entity, a human being, has no doubt has some powers because he is a rational. Rational has the rational ability. He has a superior position to the other living entities and to the inanimate world also. He definitely has certain abilities beyond that we find and the properties of the other living entities and the properties of the environment. But they are not unlimited. Just like we may feel we are superior in rational capacity to the material elements. But we know there are such things that we cannot control, like hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and so forth and so on. Then what your rationality will do. Okay? So we are not supreme, although we have some superior capacities. We are certainly not supreme. The environment itself, which we consider to be not intelligent, to be submissive, that we can submit to our own will, that can also take a superior position to us, a supreme position to us, if we are unfortunate enough to be in that situation. So we must not mistake our limited, although superior qualities that we have, they are not absolutely supreme, not absolutely superior. They are relative to more higher forces that are working in the world. It's unfortunate. We see so many very great men that have lived in history, even today, very powerful personalities who do not know this, who do not have information or knowledge about the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And it's very unfortunate because they have to live their lives, valuable lives, without knowing these things. And that, and they become great politicians, authors, millionaires, billionaires, whatever. But their lives are actually wasted. All that great capacity is wasted. We see great civilizations like the Greeks, the Romans, even the US, so many civilizations have arisen. But if they have no idea what is their real purpose, what is their spiritual identity, and the real constitutional identity as service of Krishna, then all that energy, all that intelligence, all that effort, it simply winds up in destruction as useless. The Greek civilization has been decimated. The Roman civilization is finished. And the US also, one day, they may also be finished. Because what is the proper understanding they are not having and not living according to that? So do not waste time, not waste your good qualities on pursuing those types of things. The most important thing we can do at every moment is to remember what is our real position, what is our real identity, and try to submit to that and act in that consciousness, Krishna consciousness, and the eternal servants of Krishna. Next verse. Sarva Dhameshu Api Mukti Dattritvam. Sarva Chara Vivarjita Satya Dijo Ratya Jagadvachaka Dambhakankriti Tapana Paishuna Para Papanchaja Nistura Ye Chanye Dana Dara Putra Nirata Sarvadhamas Te Pihi Sri Govinda Padara Vidya Karna Mukta Bhavanti Dvija. Even the lowest of men are liberated by surrender. Oh, twice born persons, persons who are devoid of all virtuous practices, or outcasts, rogues, deceitful, audacious, egotistic, addicted to intoxicants, hotbeds of sin, malicious, cruel-natured, grossly infatuated with son, wife, wealth, etc. Even such extremely fallen persons are liberated by surrendering unto the lotus feet of Sri Govinda. Why is that? Why does it not matter how good you or bad you are? Because those are all, however good you are, however bad you are, that's all illusion. You are neither good nor bad, or this or that or the other thing. Your real identity is that you are a servant of Krishna. And once you realize that, then all those other things vanish. All those other identities, they're nullified. Karma, so many things are pushing us here in this way or that way. So many desires and so forth. They're all the results of Maya. Once you understand the message of Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharmam Parityaja, the message of the scriptures of Mahaprabhu, and take up that process, immediately all those other identities are erased. They're nullified. Sridhara used to tell, we are approaching the Department of Mercy. We don't want to go to the Department of Justice. We are approaching the Department of Mercy. Please give your mercy to me. I am a very sinful person, and I am coming to you because I have no way to get out from that. There's a very sinful condition of life. Only by your mercy can you take me up and relieve me from those things. Disentangle me from those things. If I am to come to the Department of Justice and be judged for what I have done and not done, then I am finished. I am a criminal and I should be put in the most miserable condition of life. But I am done with that kind of life. I'm done with that world. Now I want to have your unconditional service, to serve you unconditionally with all my heart, and to leave that other thing behind. And I'm approaching you for your mercy. And Krishna is very merciful. His mercy personified, his love personified. Mercy means love. He is willing to give. He's willing to exchange a loving relationship with us if we approach in a submissive, surrendered mood. Tasnistasya nadogati paramartam ashrishtasya jagatam adi karanam shranyam sharanam yato govindam navasitati. Maybe Brihad Naradiya Purana, Narada Purana. So a surrendered soul never falls down. Sri Govinda is the origin of all universes, the supreme truth, and the shelter of all. One who surrenders unto his lotus feet can never be cast asunder. Now there is some controversy, I know, in ISKCON in the past years about how the soul got to this material world. That they say he fell down from the spiritual world to this world, but that is not exactly what the Bhakti Yoga and other great saints have explained in scripture. And in Mahaprabhu's explanation to Sanatana Goswami, when Sanatana Goswami asked him, Kayami, in Bengali, Kayami means who am I? Mahaprabhu answered, Jivera Swarupoy Krishnara Nitidas, Jivera Tatasta Shakti, Beda Bed Prakash. So he explained to Sanatana Goswami that you are the eternal servant of Krishna, of the same nature as Krishna, yet different from him. Beda Bed. You are the same nature as Krishna, yet different from him. In other words, qualitatively, we are spiritual, same spiritual nature as Krishna, but quantitatively, we have a different. We are different. We are finite and infinite. So even though finite, we also are infinite. But if we study some mathematics about infinities, we'll understand that there are different types of infinities also. Infinity is not of just one type. There's infinities that contain infinities within them that are bigger than other infinities. So in that way, Krishna is a bigger infinity than we are, even though we might be infinite in a certain sense also.
Infinitesimal.
Huh?
Infinitesimal.
Infinitesimal.
Infinitely small.
Yes, we can see it like that also. So the soul doesn't fall down from the spiritual, but he is in an intermediary position, tatastha. Tiver Tatasta Shakti. Beda Beda Prakash. That Tatasta, Prabhupada once explained, is like the line between the ocean and the land. There's a line where the water comes up and then it becomes the ocean. And then it goes one direction, it becomes the ocean, and the other direction beyond that line, it becomes the land. So that's the Tasta section, that line. So we are also between the spiritual and material consciousness. Spiritual consciousness comes when we can associate with those who are belonging to that spiritual world, the Vaishnavas. And material consciousness comes when we are associated with those who are in the material conception of life. It depends on our association, who we are identifying with, who we are relating to. Birds of a feather flock together. Those who associate with materialists become materialists. Those who associate with the devotees become devotees. So we want to keep our association with the devotees. And this way we remain on that side of the Tatasta, the spiritual side. Association, Sadhu-Sanga, very important. And of course, we have to remember within ourselves always this difference between Maya and Krishna consciousness. Srila once told that those who say that we fell down from our relationship with Krishna, said they are enemies of faith. Faith means that when I go to Krishna, then I will not come down. I'll be eternally situated there. If we are thinking we could go and be with Krishna and then have some other desire, that is incorrect understanding of Krishna Krishna Prem. There is no higher desire, no higher fulfillment than Krishna Prem, nothing higher. When one comes to that level, to that stage, then no other desire can possibly take one from there. There's no desire that would be felt, no lack. Desire means a lack. Something is lacking, and I want. So there would be no lack there. No desire other than service and satisfaction of Krishna. And that's the highest pleasure. Akila Rasamrita Murti. The highest fulfillment of rasa. What are you laughing at? Highest fulfillment of rasa. Text number 12. Dukkha karatvam mano artvancha sita priyahite nityam ya eva purusharshabaha rajam skava yadu sresto vaikunta purushottama. Yaenam samshrayantiha bhaktya narayanam harim te tarantiha sahantiha durgam Name Tasti Vicharanam Mahabharata Shanti Par. Surrender unto the Supreme Lord Hari vanquishes misery and charms the heart with the Lord's divine sweetness. O King, what more can I say? The foremost of the Yadu dynasty, the unassailable great personality is full of goodwill for you, and always your dear friend, he is none other than the Supreme Lord Narayan, Sri Hari. Those who devotedly take full refuge in him cross over this insurmountable ocean of material existence. There are three things that we can notice in our lives. Everyone. We're seeking to be happy. We're seeking knowledge to know, and we're seeking to live. Nobody is seeking. Well, nobody wants to die. Huh? The scientists are making so many efforts to show us how we can live forever. Find that chemical. Of course, that's not possible in this world. But in the world of spirit, that is possible. One can live eternally. Why would we want to live eternally in this world? What is it driving us in this world? Why is that inspiration there to live? When everything is going to dust, everything is dying here. Yet why is that inspiration in us to want to live? And it is said because the soul is eternal. Our real nature is to be eternal. But we are seeking that in this material body, which is not eternal. Still that soul is there, even in the material body. And it is desiring to be who he is as eternal. Nitya Krishna Das. Krishna Nityadas, an eternal servant. Therefore, we are always seeking to live because that is the nature of the soul, not of the body. And we are always seeking knowledge. Why? Why are we looking to become knowledgeable? So many universities, schools, educational centers, every attempt to learn this, to learn that, the other thing. Why are we so inquisitive to know? We're all born in ignorance, but that is not our natural condition for the soul. Soul is full of knowledge. Sat-cit-ananda is full of knowledge. And the soul will not be satisfied without that fullness of knowledge as a soul, as a spiritual being. So we can see the symptoms of the soul even in this world. The desire to live, the desire to know. These are not properties of matter. These are properties of the soul, of life. And finally, the desire to be happy. Nobody's looking to be miserable in this world. And there's misery, we're all searching for happiness, how to get out from that misery. Why? Everything in this world is miserable. Everyone is dying, getting sick. So many hardships to make hard. You have to work hard just to make a living. So much difficulty in this world. Yet, why is everyone seeking happiness when there's only unhappiness, so much misery in this world? Again, the soul is ananda. He can relish ananda, unending. It means infinite joy. Yet he cannot experience in this material world. He cannot experience that ananda here. Therefore, we can understand these are symptoms of something deeper than what this world can provide us. The reason for these things, desire to live, desire to know, desire to be happy, they are the symptoms of the soul. And until we reach that soul identity and to recognize and realize that soul is part not of this material world, but of the spiritual world of sat-cit-ananda, then all these things can be fulfilled. A very practical matter of understanding the difference between spirit and matter. So, Puri Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Harinanda Prabhu, all the devotees, Bhakti Raj, Bhakti Tony. My Dandava pranams to you all. Please be safe, be happy. My love to you all. Hare Krishna.
Dandava Maharaj.
Dandava.
We love to you, Ankechava Prabhu, and all devotees. Thank you for your mercy, Maharaj. And devotees.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dandava Prabhu, Dandava.
Dandava.